This video is intended to tell you what you need to know to do a little wilderness whitewater canoe trip down the Opeongo River, which is in Ontario. So as you can see here, the Opeongo River is a great little river. It's small, it's got good volume of water in the spring. It's a spring run, and it's got rapids ranging from class 2 to class 4 rapids. And it is really for an experienced wilderness whitewater paddler. There aren't always pools to recover after rapids, so it's a little higher risk in some places, hence the designation up to class 4. But as you can see here, it's a lot of fun and it has a great current. So my partner and I here were doing this river in May. We had dry suits on because the water was cold, and that was required at that time. And obviously, we've got barrels and float bags, and so we're well equipped for this trip, and we matched our skill level. We had checked it out earlier in April, and it was a little too angry for us, so we actually took a pass and did the lower Madawaska, which is really close by. But anyway, we came back in May and we were rewarded with this awesome little river. So highly recommended. It's fantastic. So the Opeongo River starts in Algonquin Park and flows out of the park, and I'll explain that in a minute. But first, just to show you generally where it is. So you got Algonquin Park here, and Highway 60 cuts through the park. So if you're coming from Ottawa, you'll be traveling west on Highway 60. And if you're coming from Toronto, you'll turn off at Huntsville and you'll be coming east on Highway 60. Put in and take out are pretty close by in terms of west east, but you have to travel obviously upriver to do it. So some people would do a shuttle and arrange for a shuttle, and I'll give you a referral here for an outfitter that'll do that for you. Others will bring two cars and leave one car to take out and take the other in, and some people actually will park at the put in and then bring a bike with them on the canoe and then bike back to complete the circuit. So that takes some doing. Here on Google Maps, a little more details. So the put-in point is, as I mentioned, in the Shaw Lake access point. But when you're coming to the little town of Madawaska here, you'll see indications for the Shaw Lake, S-H-A-L-L, Shaw Lake, maybe, or Shaw Lake put-in point. And there is an outfitter right here. It's actually Algonquin-bound outfitter, and they do have a Madawaska location. That's the one that I'm talking about here. And this outfitter is well known in the area. They can sell you all manner of gear. They can also rent you canoes and PFDs and paddles and all of that. And they can also provide a shuttle. Now, I think they weren't open yet in May when we did the trip that you just saw, so you got to be mindful of that. But really a great establishment, which again is well known in the park, great people, and highly recommend that if you need a shuttle or if you need any kind of gear. The other place that will shuttle you is Barkwick Camp. And the benefit of them is, they'll shuttle you and your boats, and they'll also rent you canoes if you need them. But they're situated right on the Madawaska River, just past Highway 60. So you can actually canoe to your vehicles if you shuttle with them. So that's an option. And I think they are open year-round as well. So you could give them a call and arrange for a shuttle if you like. So the access point I mentioned, Shaw Lake, so it's in Algonquin Park, and of course you can. It's number 17 if you have the Algonquin Canoe Routes map. And to get there, then, as I mentioned, you would turn north off of Highway 60 at Madawaska, right behind you kind of go behind the outfitters. There's some houses and so on down here, but then it gets less and less populated until eventually you get into the park, and there's no more houses at this point. It's a dirt road. And you get to the Shaw Lake access point here, and you can't drive any further than this, even though this map makes you think you can. There is a ranger station here, So if you're leaving a car at the put-in point, you gotta pay for overnight parking at the ranger station. And if you're camping in the park, you gotta have a permit. So normally you would get a reservation ahead of time, or you could just show up and take your chances. There are lots of campsites in the Shell Lake and Crotch Lake area, which is what this is. Great campsites, and I think it's just a good idea to camp the night before, get yourself organized, meet your crew, and so on. And you're so close to the put-in, you could actually take your gear back to your car if it's there, or you could just put it in a barrel and take it down with you. So there are a couple of lakes to be traversed. You gotta watch your navigation here a little bit because there's lots of little bays, but you just follow the water. There are some rapids, little class 2 rapids as you get into here. I think this is Victoria Lake. And then there is, at the very top of the river, there's a Salvation Army camp, which is a big camp. You can't miss it. It'll be on your left, as you're in the lake here. And there is a bridge there, and you have to portage around that bridge because it's so low, and there's some water control dam remnants, kind of rocks there. So you have to portage around. It's 20 meters. And here's where you want to put on your dry suit, stow all of your loose stuff, because after this you get into the roller coaster rapids, which is a series of continuous rapids. And there's the odd place you can pull over, but there's no campsites down the actual Opeongo River. And in fact, you leave Algonquin Park and you enter the Opeongo River Provincial Park. And if you were to look at the Opeongo River Provincial Park site, you'll see that it's a non-operating provincial park, so that there are no services in the park. These are all grayed out. There are no campsites along the river, and there are no thunderboxes or other things along the river until you get to the takeout. And that takeout is right here on Aylen Lake Road. And actually, there is a if you're self-shuttling and you're trying to find the takeout point, there is actually a road marker, and it is 1129 is the road marker as you're going up Aylen Lake Road. And you turn at this road marker and go in, and there is a great campsite at the takeout at Aylen Lake Road. It has a thunderbox. It has plenty of flat area, and if depending on how far you're traveling, you might want to camp at the takeout because it is 5 or 6 hours down the river. So that's at a leisurely pace, assuming you're not fishing or anything. You might want to spend a night in Opeongo River Provincial Park. As you're doing it and preparing for it, you'll want to bring one of these little maps here that's put out by Friends of Algonquin Park. It's got whitewater indications for all the rapids and a good map for canoeists for the river. It's waterproof, sort of, but you'll definitely want to have one of these to help you look ahead down the river. So that's the river. As I said, it's a spring run for experienced canoeists. I hope this helps you with the put-in and the takeout. You can self-shuttle like that from Shaw Lake to Aylen Lake Road, or you could keep going to Highway 60 if you want and leave your car right on by the side of the highway, and you could take out there. There's not a lot of whitewater from where the Aylen River comes into the Opeongo, so my advice would be to take out at Aylen Lake Road. Hope that helps you out, and I hope you get out there, and maybe we'll see you out there. Take care.